everybody, I'm Nettie K. Welcome back to my studio. Today, as promised, I'm going to share with you some tricks, tips, and tools on how to keep painting and creating even if you've got arthritic hands or wimpy hands, or maybe you kind of suffered from a freak accident somewhere along the line in your life and your hands just don't work very well. Well, that's what happened to me. I know many of you probably have been watching for years and you have this one looming question in your mind. Oh, she's so beautiful. What in the world's going on with that one weird hand of hers? Okay, well, I'll tell you at the end of this video what happened. Yes, I broke this finger, and don't get your shirt in a knot. It had something to do with art. So we're going to talk about that at the end of our little time together today. All I can say is I'm not flipping anybody off at the intersection anymore. No, gave that up years ago. So we'll find out what happened in just a few minutes. So let's get started on our little investigation of tools and tips, everybody. All right, let's get going. All right, now many of you guys know that I have rheumatoid arthritis, and so every week I have to have an injection. Well, the new medication they're putting me on comes in something called a click jet. Instead of having a skinny little syringe, it comes in a really fat thing. It looks more like a rocket ship. Now you know why our pharmaceuticals are getting so expensive. They got rocket ship engineering on these things. So the idea is that it's bigger around in the base of it so that you can hang on to it while you're giving yourself an injection. So you grab a hunk of fat on your belly, try to hold on to it with this wimpy-doo hand over here, and then you hit this button as you've got this in place. Hit the button, and then, ready or not, you get a shot. Isn't that special? I don't know how great that is, but it seems to work, sort of. Okay, what I'm getting at is I got this idea all of a sudden, hey, this is the perfect size for a handle for a paintbrush. So, look around your house, maybe a screwdriver, maybe something with a nice fat handle. Tape a paintbrush to it and see if you can make, we want to have a longer brush. You can make a longer brush. You can tape it to something with some masking tape and make your handles a little bit more comfortable. You don't have to actually go out and buy a whole new set of brushes. That's one idea. Here we go. Now, what's my most important tool in my little arthritis toolbox? Well, my most important tool is my pair of pliers, all right? This one stays right on my easel every day. It stays on the easel, and then when I go to open up a tube of paint, I can use the pliers, open them up, and then hopefully I don't fling the lids all over the studio. Now I do. The lids go flying, and so many of my tubes have no lids on them at this point. They get dried out, and then I get into trouble. But at least I get them off, and then hopefully I can get to painting. So anyway, this one's a really important one. Pliers are number one. Pliers are number one. And then, of course, I need to get the paint out of the tube, right? All right, so I have a new thing. It's actually not new, but this is brand new. My friend Chance O'Brien, bless his heart, he's a student of mine, went out and gathered up a bunch of stuff online, ordered a bunch of things that he thought might help. And there are some really cool things. This one is called a tube wringer. Now, I have had a tube wringer. It's really worn out. This one's a plastic one. This one's a metal one. And how this works is you put your tube inside this little thing like that, all right, like that. I hope you can see that. And then you squeeze it at the bottom, and then you turn the, whoa, there goes the paint. The paint comes right out. I'm going to put that on my little palette. Oh boy, does it ever. So it comes right out. You can see that was pretty easy, right? This one is metal, and it's a little bit sharp edged on the bottom, so it's kind of hard on your hands. The plastic one is a little easier on your hands, but this one's a little bit stronger as far as getting the paint out. Boy, did I just figure that out. That's pretty funny. Okay, so I'm going to set that down. So that's called a tube wringer, all right? And they make those in Eugene, Oregon, where I'm from. They design those and produce those. Yay, isn't that fun to know that from your own hometown somebody created something that cool. That's really neat. Okay, And I wanted to talk a little bit more about something that Chance made me, and he gave me permission to show you this. And so we're going to talk him into manufacturing these for the rest of you guys. He created this gigantic hook, and it's just like one of those, you know, little ones for your toothpaste tube. And so you put this at the bottom of the tube. I've got to find one that I've started already. Put it at the bottom of the tube like this, and you stick the tube in, and then all you have to do is twist it, and you can get the paint to come out, and it works out really, really, really well. So we're going to do a little bit of tweaking, and if you're interested in getting one of these things, hey, let me know at the bottom in the comments, and I'll put you on a list just in case we ever get to where we get to the manufacturing stage. Yes, that'd be fun. All right, so that's, I don't know what we're going to call this one. We're going to call it a paint key. Yeah, that'll be a good thing to call it there. Okay, so now another tool that he brought me was this thing, and this is really good for getting your, you know, jam jars open. I bet you could use that on a doorknob too. I might need to use that on my doorknob, especially in the winter when it gets cold. But here's, when we're painting, often we have things like this, okay? So, you know, you got your bottle of Neo-Mag-Elp, and you got to try to figure out how to get that off. And so you just line it up with whatever hole fits it, and then you take it and you turn the bottle and hold on to the top, and it comes right off. Yeah, it does. I'm not going to do that, otherwise I might throw this all over the place, but it does come off. And so one of the problems with these, you guys, is that they are child-proof lids. Anybody have a problem with that? Yeah, hello. Number one, I don't have any children right now, other than one big 23-year-old. He's not going to eat any of this. So if it gets stuck, it's really exasperating. I often will use a hammer and just bang the tar out of it until I break the top lid off, and underneath is a white lid, and then I just leave the underlying lid underneath, and it's a whole lot less pain. Yeah, so anyway, but this thing I really like, and I've been using that quite a bit. We had one other little tool which I'm not so crazy about. This is a little alligator thing. I'm going to hold it over here in the dark. It's an alligator thing, and it's also got a thing for, you know, snapping the little tab off your beer, or the cap. This is a cap thing. And so jury's still out on this one. I'm not sure how great this one is, but it might be good for something that you're working on. But anyway, not one that I'm highly recommending. That was just part of our little list. A good thing to also have is an ergonomic pair of scissors. Now this one has got a special thumb thing where you can stick your thumb in your hands, and it fits beautifully. And this is called a Carbo Titanium. I don't know who makes it, but it's pretty darn good, and they're really sharp, and I hope I don't wreck them and cut cardboard with them. But this is a really good pair of scissors. So that's just another little piece. Now, while I'm thinking about putting my thumb into something, here is something that we think we need. It's called a palette, and it makes us look really, really artsy, okay? But honestly, if you've got arthritis in this joint down here like I do, you do not want to be holding something up with a hole in it with your thumb sticking through and putting heavy paint on it, all right? I'm just saying. What you can do is get yourself a disposable palette. They come in various different sizes. The one I get is like 12 by 16. And I've got all my stuff sitting on it. I'd show it to you. And they come in gray, one called gray matters, and some of them are white. I tend to like the gray ones better because it doesn't fry my eyeballs quite so much, and I can see my colors better. And so at the end of the day, all you have to do is take that paper off and throw the paint out, and you don't have to sit there and scrape and clean your palette, or you don't have a big problem if you accidentally go to bed and forget that you left your paint sitting out, you know. You can get that easy cleanup. That's what we're all about. What would you rather spend time on? Painting or cleaning up? Yeah, hello. Painting every time. Okay, so on top of that, I'm thinking about this hole right here. Again, still, so we got the scissors that have got the ergonomic little hole, the palette, we don't want that. And then I have this things on my arms, okay? You probably noticed that. I usually have something on my arms all the time. This one's a basic ACE bandage, and it's got Velcro on it. Now, here's the problem with this one. It has a hole in it. Can you see that? I'll match it up with the hole on my guy's shoe up here. Everybody like this painting? This is an old one that I did a while back. Yes, it's for sale, so go on my Etsy site. You might find it there. Anyway, this hole is problematic because you put your thumb in it and it cuts the circulation off right here, or it creates a problem at the base, again, right where I've got massive arthritis. So I don't use that part of it. I might use it in this for a second, well, not really, just to hold on to it. But I use the ACE bandage to create some support, and I'll use that just around my wrist. And they do make some that are glove-like, and I love those. I have those around the house. I don't know where I put them. I lose a lot of things. Yeah, it's my personality. It gets worse too. Oh dear. As we get older, we tend to become more of ourselves, don't we? Okay, now on my other arm is something different. This is something I made, and I make a lot of them. Whenever my son, Lincoln, who's about 23, walks on his tippy toes a lot, as he blows through his socks, I will cut the top part of the sock off and create these little armlets. Yeah, these are my armlets. They're not fancy, but I can put 2 or 3 of them on there if I'm feeling a little bit sore, and it keeps them nice and warm and gives me just a little bit of minimal support whenever I need it. So, you know, it's just an adaptation of things you find around. Isn't that cool? So, I think that's all the things that I have on my list. So let's go over them just a little bit. Number 1, a pair of pliers. Number 2, a pair of ergonomic scissors are really good. Number 3, we have, the tube ringers. Tube ringer is really good. Number 4, a disposable palette. Number 5, someday in your dreams, we'll have one of these cool little whatever things that we are working on. And what else? Oh, and some armies. Okay, armlets. Yes, my armlets. Isn't that fun? Okay, so I hope that really helped you a little bit to realize that you can overcome your arthritis. I know there's a lot more to arthritis. You got fatigue, you got all sorts of garbage that you have to deal with every time you get up in the morning. And sometimes it's really not easy. I know that. But this will make it easier, all right? So if you have any ideas, I want to hear about them in the comments below. Share with everybody around and make sure that they get the message too, that there are various different fun tools. And thanks again to Chance O'Brien for collecting up all of these things and delivering them to my studio door with mask on. You know, we're at that point. Isn't this a cool mask? My son designed this one. It's got the state of Idaho on it. And he's got those in his shop in McCall for everybody too. So let me know if you need one of those. Yeah. So I'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. And I'm going to share with you a story about, this one. How I broke this on a piece of art. Yeah. Be right back. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and it's story time. About 25 years ago, I had a large gallery in Pasadena, California, called the Master Studio. It was located in a building, a big brick building called the Cellophane Factory, and that had been a place where they actually had produced cellophane. So when they first got this big building, before they turned it into a super chic spot, they had to scrape a ton of cellophane off the floor in order to get down to the concrete. So anyway, it was a pretty neat place. And so here we were in this big building, and I had about 20 artists that joined me, and we had a great time producing art and having shows and doing all kinds of things. Well, one day a man came in, and he was in a bit of a rush, and he said, "Ma'am, is there any way that you could do a portrait for us? We're from an architectural firm." And he said, one of our men came in, and he's one of our main architects, came in and had a heart attack yesterday and dropped dead on the floor in front of everybody, and everybody's really upset. And so we thought if we had a portrait done of him, it would make everyone feel better. I said, oh, sure, bring the photos. And so he did. He presented me with some photos. Well, every one of the photos, it appeared that the fellow had been quite, oh, how can I say this respectfully? Quite the drinker, okay. And his face was very, very ruddy, very, very, red. And anyway, there were tons of photos, and every single one he was drinking something. So it was very obvious, what might have caused his demise. So anyway, so I painted him that way. I painted him with that ruddy skin. And so the man comes back and he sees it and he says, oh, I think the skin is way too ruddy. The skin is way too ruddy. And so I said, all right, I'll tone it down. So I toned it down. And then his wife came in and his wife said, oh, he looks like he's 3 days in the grave. He's way too gray. And I thought, yeah. So I brought it back up again and made him more the way she remembered him. And so finally, I get it just right. And I go to load it into my car for delivery. And a gust of wind picks it up. And it starts to fly out of my hand. And I jammed my finger in trying to catch it. And that's what happened. I broke my finger. I thought, oh my gosh, I have broken my finger. And I put the painting into the car very carefully. Thank goodness I didn't damage the painting. But I snapped that thing and got what's called a mallet break. I went into the ER and I'm thinking, how long is it going to take? Somebody help me, I've broken my finger. And then I looked up and I realized after I'd been there for 2 hours, they were working on somebody trying to revive them with CPR. Some 90-year-old fellow they were trying to revive with CPR, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I guess that's just the way it is. I have to wait my turn. It's not first come, first serve. If you're dying, you get to go first. Okay. So anyway, they finally got to me and they said, well, we can do a surgery, but it's going to cost you more than what you made on your painting to do the surgery to remove the chip of bone out of my finger. And at that time, of course, and even at this time, I don't have that kind of money to have it fixed. So I thought, can I still play guitar? Can I still paint? And the answer was yes. And so I never got it fixed. There you go. And that's my story. And so, yeah, isn't that fun? Okay, well, now you know. So every time you look at it, you'll think, okay, I sacrificed my finger for the sake of art. Yes, I did. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that little story, and I hope you'll join me next time when who knows what we'll be doing. Yeah, all right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.